Hi guys, so recently I have been asked many times, why do I do what I do? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened to me and why I do the Bags of Hope. So in 2006, it would have been October, I was living in Liverpool. I was in a bad relationship and sadly I lost my baby. At the time I didn't even know I was pregnant until I had a really bad bleeding, and I thought this isn't normal, and I went to the doctors and my worst fears were confirmed. After a few tests they found out that it was a chemical pregnancy. So obviously, because it was so early on in the pregnancy and I didn't even know I was pregnant, I didn't really think that much about it at the time, and I didn't really talk about it a lot. But then I got out of that bad relationship, I went back home, and I went on to have another loss in 2010. This time it was a miscarriage, so I should have been 9 weeks pregnant, small bleeds, pains in my stomach, really bad pains. Got an emergency appointment at the EPAU, went in to be scanned, found out baby's heartbeat had stopped 3 weeks earlier. My body had failed me, or at least that's how I felt at the time. Blamed myself, as we do, but it's not your fault. I didn't have any scan photo, didn't really think to ask at the time. All I had was my positive pregnancy test. So later that year in August the 13th that year, 2010, I started Bear for an Angel. We started by doing fundraisers, and we raised enough money for some bears. We donated them to families who were affected by any kind of pregnancy loss. Anyway, time went on. I had more children and lost more children, sadly. It came to my 5th loss, which was in 2017, and time and time again I'd heard more and more people say that they didn't get anything when they lost their babies early in pregnancy, and I thought, this isn't right, something needs to be done. So I took it upon myself to design the Bags of Hope, and they were named after my baby Quinn that I'd lost earlier that year. So they're called Quinn's Bags of Hope. The first hospital that I reached out to was my local hospital, so Ipswich Hospital, and they were the first hospital to take the bags on. And now these have been a huge, I'm not sure if success is the right word, I can't really think of a word, but people love them, they mean a lot to them. You know, if you had nothing and someone gave you one of these bags, it means the world. It really does. So, you know, we had to find ways of fundraising and so on and so on. And basically that is why I do what I do. Recently, you may have heard on here, may have seen that we reached our 1000th Bag of Hope. Now this is amazing. We are just a small organisation run by just small, just my family basically. So me, Joe, my dad, and maybe a couple of volunteers. And we don't have a lot of fundraising. The only fundraising we have is on here.